Hello and welcome to another live hangout for Ask the Young Cow. We do this every Wednesday at 1 p.m. and it's to provide you with answers to questions you may ask yourself every day. Okay, so in today's hangout, we are talking about how important Google AdWords remarketing is. So what I'm going to do is go into our spreadsheet. First of all, let me introduce myself. I forgot that. My name is Jack Rogers, and I do the mostly web design at Young Cow. And you'll notice at the bottom, we've got Leon Street, but Leon's skiving today. He's out on meetings, so I'm just on my own today. So I'm a little nervous, but hopefully I can create a hangout that's pretty entertaining and gets a lot of information across to you. So if I share my screen now onto the presentation. So once again, if hashtag ATYC, if you want to ask me a question whilst we're live, just go onto Twitter and use the hashtag you can see on screen, ATYC. And if you're watching this on YouTube, just ask us a question in the description and we can answer it there as well. So the first slide, how can Google AdWords remarketing allow you to stay engaged with your target audience online? So firstly, what is remarketing? Remarketing is a useful tool developed by Google AdWords and used by advertisers to display adverts to audiences who have previously visited a website. So when a visitor loads up a new website, you have a chance of appearing in something called a display advert. And this can be seen in various positions on a web page. So for example, Express and Star, which if you live in Wolverhampton, I think it's West Midlands. I'm from Stoke, so I don't have Express and Star, so I'm not 100% sure what areas that covers. But on their websites, they would have multiple boxes designated to these sort of adverts, which for them is a source of income because Google allow you to show adverts on your website. And if they generate enough impressions or clicks, you could get paid for that as well. But that's not what we're talking about today, so I'll keep on track. So I'll also go through what impressions are and little keywords like that throughout the hangout. So let's start with ad banners. So when we create ad banners, we need to make them visually appealing. And the main aspect is animation, as this will be the thing that catches the eyes of your audience on a web page that may be just static. And by static, I mean nothing moving. So when we design these ad banners, we aim to get our top 7 core elements that we've put together ourselves. So number 1 is call to action. Now, as I go through these 7 points, you might want to look at the 3 images I've got at the bottom of the presentation. So number 1 is call to action. And if you look at the second image, you'll see get a quote now with a button for online quote and a mouse icon. So call to action is just telling the visitor what you would like them to do or giving them an excuse to click it really. So if they want a quote, they know it's as easy to just click on that button. And 2, eye-catching images. Now, eye-catching images can be seen in 2 ways. It can either be something that's visually appealing again, or it's something that is relevant. So for us, Wolverhampton Storage, we wanted to include storage images on there. So when people looked at it, they knew exactly what it was. So 3, clear information. Now the clear information is why we've got the 3 bullets in the top right of that advert. It gets to the point, and because the adverts normally last, you can have 30 seconds on an advert. So we don't just want to show it once, we want to show it multiple times. So each section, so both of these images here are different frames. The first one will be what you see first, and the second will animate after a couple of seconds. So you want to make sure that what you want your visitors to see is basically within 2 seconds. So you need it easily. Well, let me start again. You need to make sure whatever text you've got on there can be read quickly and it's to the point. So for relevancy to the user. So as I mentioned a couple of points ago, or last point maybe, that relevance to the user, if they were looking at storage, they want to be looking at images of storage. They don't want to be looking at a stock photo that's completely off the point. So that just makes sure that they appeal to the user, because they see these adverts because they've either visited your site or they are looking at similar storage keywords. So number 5, we've got brand colors and identity. Now this ties in it's a big part of them really, because if people don't click on them, that's not a problem, because ad banners can be used also for brand image. So subconsciously, your visitors will know your brand if it keeps popping up and following them over these websites. So I know, for example, me and Leon next week will be running a Tough Mudder challenge, which is a 12-mile obstacle course, basically full of mud. And I've been looking at trainers for after Tough Mudder, because I'm pretty sure the ones I will be wearing will be wrecked and will not be able to be salvaged from that event. So I've been looking at these trainers and going onto Facebook, going on to Express and Star, keeps popping up at the side, just reminding me, a little gentle reminder that these were the shoes you're looking at. Do you want to buy them? And eventually, I might not click on that advert, but I'll know the brand that was trying to get me back onto their website. And that's what it's all about. So I'm sure we'll talk about Tough Mudder if you're interested about that and what we're doing probably next week, because that'll be the hangout just before the Tough Mudder challenge. So let's carry on with these steps. So number 6 is animation, which I mentioned earlier. The first slide that you can see, if I highlight here, is the front image for the ad. So this is the first thing that a visitor will see. So we've got no lengthy contracts, handy location, high security, and Wolverhampton self-storage and business storage. That's the specific one for that ad. So that ad's screen will probably last around 2 to 3 seconds. So we want to make sure there's minimal text on there so that it can be read and digested pretty quickly. Then once that ad has been displayed, that image has been displayed for around 3 seconds, it will animate onto this second frame here. Now this is where we want the call to action, because if people are interested and they want to click, they can click there and that will direct them to a quote form. So that would be where you would start to get your converted clicks possibly. So in tempting offers, on ours, we haven't got a tempting offer, but it is again a call to action or an offer in a way, because you are getting a quote and you can get it online. It's quick, it's easy. You won't need to talk to anyone, because some people may not like talking to people over the phone, or they may be that into technology that they prefer to just send an email. It's quicker, and they might not have the time to be on the phone to somebody. So this third image here actually shows our advert for this client on the Express and Star. I've cut it down a little just so we can see the advert more clearly, but I'm sure I'll be going through this later on in the hangout. Okay, let me just take a quick sip of my drink. And now we'll go over to step or slide 4, shall I say. So what results should you expect from AdWords remarketing? And really, every company will be different in terms of what results they can get. Not everyone is the same, as you've got different markets. Some are more competitive than others, for example. So below is an AdWords dashboard. So a dashboard is where we manage all of the campaigns. And this is for another client, so it's not Wall Self-Storage, but we also use remarketing with this client as well, with the use of ad banners. And these ad banners actually received very impressive results within the first week of us making them live. And as you'll notice there, that little statement, their banners accumulated over 100,000 impressions. And as you can see, if you can see the image below, I hope it's big enough for you. I'll see if I can zoom in maybe. That might be a little clearer for you. And you'll notice what's the first red box here. We've got impressions. Well, IMPR, that's just short for impressions. Now, impressions, I'll explain what they are. They are basically what people see of your ad banner. So it doesn't necessarily mean clicks. It's just how many times your advert appears on that website. So it could appear 100,000 times and only be clicked 10 times. Now, some people might see that as a negative, but remarketing isn't just about getting clicked. It's about brand recognition and getting your brand out there. Like I mentioned earlier, it's about your visitors will subconsciously know your brand, and then hopefully they will come across to you again on your website, and then they will start to get in touch with you from there. And also the other impressive thing about the remarketing is with this statement here, they've got over 100,000 impressions within a week for less than £40. That's massive coverage for such a small budget. So what I'll do is I'll go on to step 5, because what I'll do, I'll go onto the internet and give you a couple of examples of where you can see these ads. But first, if you can create your ad banners and you can set yourself up for maybe the results you might expect, you now need to start to think where you want to place them. Now, like the statement says there, you have these great looking ads, but you don't know the best place to put them. The first place we start thinking of is local or maybe regional news websites. So for example, our target in Wolverhampton would be the Express and Star. For me in Stoke, it's something called the Sentinel. So I'm still familiar because they use ads as well. But like I mentioned earlier, I'm not sure of the range of Express and Star. I don't know exactly where that is specific to. But the good thing when you create your campaign on Google, they allow you to pick websites that you'd like your ad to be placed on. So this means that you don't want them just to appear on any website that allows them to be there. You want to pinpoint the ones that you want to specifically choose the websites that you want your ads to show on, because those websites may have a good reputation, or you know that they visit them a lot. So what Google will do as well is if you know a website that's popular and you want to put your ad on there, Google will tell you if that website has the features enabled in order to show your ads. As not every website allows Google AdSense. Now, AdSense is the part of Google that organizes all of the adverts. So that's where, basically, that's the program where you say to Google, okay, I want Google ads on my website, so you sign up to Google AdSense. So with one of the other steps with Google as well, the Google remarketing, they will show you how many times this website is visited every month. So this will give you an indication of the popularity of the website, and this will help you to focus on the right website to bring you the most or the more specific traffic. So what I'll do now is I'll go on to see if I can share. So if I just try and share the internet for 1 second. I'm not too familiar with this technology because Leon normally sorts it all out. So I'll try to do it the best I can. You would think as a person who's on the computer all day, they would know what they're doing, but Hangout is still a little new to me. Right, so I'll see if I can share. Right, I think that's working now. I'll just double check. No, it doesn't. Wow, this is great live and nothing's working for me, but nothing's perfect. Nothing always works. Right, here we go. Hopefully you can see the screen I'm seeing now. If not, I'm going to look a little bit silly, but let's just try it anyway. So go on to the Express and Star. See all the headlines. Hopefully there's nothing too different on there that might be a bit strange. But for example, if I'm just trying to find an article that's appropriate to click on, so let's click on this one here. Right, so if an article finds your eye and you want to read it, you will start to notice these on the right side of my screen, just where I'm circling my mouse now. these are Google ads. So you'll see, like I mentioned before, they're animated, they've got relevant pictures, and they've also got their brand logo here, which is important because you may not click on that ad, but you'll remember their logo subconsciously. So as we go down, so we've got 2 adverts straight away on before the fold. Now the fold is a web design term or a web term, which is basically anything above the screen before you have to start scrolling down. So anytime we scroll down, that would then be below the fold. So again, I know me and Leon have been looking at sports equipment like for Tough Mudder again. So that's now why we're seeing the Skins advert here. So Leon's obviously either being on similar websites to Skins or he's actually been on the Skins website himself, and they have actually got Google remarketing. So that allows them to follow Leon and just give him a gentle reminder to say, hey, we're still here if you are still after Skins. And also Hootsuite, that's something we use a lot. It allows us to post to different social medias at the same time. So that's an example. The good thing with remarketing as well, it's not just these square adverts here. You can see these at the bottom, these horizontal ones. So a lot of websites accommodate different sizes. So you can have these, I think they're around 320 width by maybe 200 height or something like that. But the boxes, I would say, are probably more of the most popular because that's probably what a lot of websites have as a default, really. And you'll see this one on the side. These are normally called skyscraper ads, as you'll see they're like a skyscraper there. They're more height than width. Okay, so what I'll do now, I'll stop sharing this screen and hopefully carry on with the PowerPoint presentation. Right, so now I've explained this, it's decision time. So you need to ask yourself 3 questions. Do you want to grow your brand? Do you want to engage with your target audience? And would you benefit from remarketing? If you answered yes to these questions, all 3 of them, or maybe just 1 out of 3, 2 out of 3, then we'd recommend that you do look at Google AdWords remarketing for your business. And if maybe today I've not been clear, or maybe if you've not understood everything I've said, just leave us a question. We're always happy to answer any questions that you have. All you need to do is tweet us using hashtag ATYC or comment below our video and we will try and we will answer any questions. I'll put that out there to make sure we definitely will answer any questions. So that's the end of this Hangout this week. Like I mentioned earlier, stop sharing. We do this Hangout every week. Normally I have Leon next to me who generally does most of the talking. Today I have been a little nervous, but hopefully it's not come across too much and I've still been able to explain a lot of what I wanted to get across. But this is it for today. If you have any questions, leave a comment on YouTube or ask us on Twitter, and hopefully I'll see you next week with Leon sitting next to me as well. So thanks for watching.